I thought it would be worth, now it's late January, having a look at how these plants have developed in the winter border since we last looked at them in December. Plants like the Edgeworthia Red Dragon, the buds are becoming even more prominent, aren't they? Lovely silver grey buds. One or two orangey red flowers just starting to break on this chilly, windy day. Other plants looking particularly good are our witch hazels. Some of them are coming out like this one here. Others are still slowly emerging and will really reach their peak during February. Other plants such as this Picea pungens glauca, this lovely pine, and also the red dogwood behind. We've got a number of different coloured dogwoods, and during February and March, the colours of these will become stronger and stronger. I thought it would also be worth looking at some of the shrubs which aren't specifically winter interests, but are looking really good at this time of year. And here's one of them, Pittosporum Tom Thumb. Fairly robust shrub, needs a little bit of protection, not for the coldest of locations, but is pretty good. And this foliage just looks, well, really good for the majority of the year. We looked at this exotic border underneath the tower back at the start of December, and I think hopefully you'll agree that it's still looking really exciting even now at this time of year. We've had several very hard frosts. This border does face south, so it does have some protection, but again, not plants you'd always think of for interest. And given that generally the winters are much milder, particularly down here in Wells, I thought it'd be worth looking at some of these plants now at the end of January. So certainly this variegated yucca, always very robust, strong plants. The Areobatria, the loquat there, still looking good. The flowers have been somewhat frosted, hence why you don't often get fruit on them outside of bigger cities and coastal parts of the UK. And even the euonymus looking good. And the Melianthus major here as well, which tends to get frosted in the hardest of winters, but this year again, still of good interest, as well as the big Chinese rice paper plants there, the Tetrapanax, almost I think look more impressive without the leaves and with these giant wooden stems rising up, trunks rising up next to the tower here. I think also this border here, the Jocelyn border, which again, I think we looked at the structure back at the beginning of December. And again, it's still looking good now. There's still enough interest there from the structure of the last summer's seed heads, for example. The grass there, the Stipa tenuissima, still giving good, strong structure. A number of other things are more frosted now. They have been more battered by the weather. But the aster through the middle, there's still enough structure, and equally the sedum here, Matrona, also looking still looking good. People often ask about the euonymus japonicus Jean Hughes, which is the hedging here, and our replacement for box, which in this part of England is by far and away the best replacement for box hedging. There's nothing as good as this that you can plant. Equally though, it's worth looking at its strong points. So it is very drought tolerant. It does grow fast. It does keep very bushy. It can be more susceptible to hard winter frosts, which we don't get that many of here. We've had several nights about -7, perhaps -8 this winter so far. And you will see on here the odd bit of browning that happens. But of course, where we will cut the hedge in April time, we'll be able to clear that away. And that's one of the adjustments we've made for this hedging. We did find that if you cut all the hedges in September, you can run the risk of slightly more frost damage, which the leaves do drop off and it does rejuvenate very quickly in the spring. But by leaving it and cutting it in April, I think the regrowth will be just as good, but the damage by the frost it will be negligible, and you really won't notice it at all. This is one of my favourite winter plantings here, one that we've had a lot of success with. Reliable colour from the witch hazel here. This one's pallida, the cultivar. The Edgeworthia, just straight Edgeworthia chrysantha there with its, again, silver grey buds, but will have much yellower flowers on. The lovely big bank there at the back of the dogwood midwinter fire, which is probably if not the most reliable dogwood, one of the most reliable dogwoods. And then these lovely hellebores here, Harvington Red, a very reliable hellebore, one that we'll be removing the leaves from next week when we come through here and have a little tidy up. And something that we'll be looking forward to at both ends of this border is the willow, which will have the nice pink catkins on later on.